I think you're going to enjoy this video. I hope you do anyway. If not for what I say, although hopefully you'll enjoy that. Then for the scenery. Sunset, well, sun's going down. It's about 8:30. Field of wheat behind me there. Golden light cast across the meadows. And we'll see as we go up this ridge here. We'll see some beautiful views, and hopefully, as I say, you'll enjoy the splendour of this gorgeous countryside on this perfect midsummer's evening. And it's good actually, the wind's dropped out, so good opportunity for me to film. But anyway, I wanted to do this video following on from the last one I did, which was, I think, possibly the longest video I've done, where I talked about free speech and the Orwellian world that we're living in and how it's affecting me and many others. And there's a few comments, by the way, that I need to get back to, that I need to respond, and I will do. Just following on from that, really. I guess the aim of this video is twofold. I've been thinking about what does the imperfect individual mean, as I do quite regularly. But also, I just think it's so important that we sometimes just reflect on the challenges that we've come through and how difficult it is to live in a time whereby reality is not really discussed, or it is, but there's very narrow bands of what seems to be an acceptable version of events when it comes to reality. Truth doesn't seem to factor at all in general conversation. The general conversation is just that, very general, very surface level, and that's not even talking about you know, the tyranny that we continue to stand up against. So I also want to do that with this video, you know, to give thanks and to show my gratitude to anybody and everybody who's continuing to take a stand, because I know that everyone to some degree is struggling with those topics that I just touched on there. And I am recently, I'm having a bit of a tough time at the moment. I've said a number of times, and I've said it to a number of people, that, you know, I am one of those who, once I've drawn my line, that is it. I'm not going to step over it under any circumstances. I'm not. And that for me means trying to imbue my life with the values that I hold dear and the values that I know that I'm in alignment with, because some of my values I'm not in alignment with, but truth and freedom and open-mindedness. I'll just show you this, look at this. Don't need to be anywhere else, do I? I was talking about values. Another one of my values actually is imperfection. And another one is individualism, hence the imperfect individual. But what does that mean? And every now and again I do, as I say, I'll come back to, well, what is it I'm trying to say about myself and the world, and how I see myself in the world, and what is it what's important about imperfectionism, what's important about individuality. And the reason I say that is because I feel that there's something in the air at the moment, and it's really getting me down. It's confusing me. It's wearing me down. There are very few people who are willing to engage in meaningful conversation in relation to what's just happened in the last few years. I touched on this the other day, and I think that the presence of somebody possibly such as myself makes them feel uncomfortable. And what's happening is, even though awareness about the problems has grown to to a great extent, I think that societal reflection that absolutely must happen isn't. And now, because all of a sudden people like me aren't cranks, conspiracy theorists, people can see that we were right. It's too hard for them. And for me, certain relationships that I have are once again, exceptionally strained and tense. Because what needs to be said, what needs to be discussed, regardless of how it's done, because we're talking about such evil, we're talking about such unbelievable depravity that people have allowed to happen in our country, in our world, that what needs to be discussed is so stark that it will lead to emotional turmoil. It will lead to upset. It will possibly lead to nervous breakdowns, huge emotional fallout. People are damaged and they just can't do it. But what's not fair is that there are those of us who have advocated at the start simply for conversation. Then it moved on to, preserving and defending human rights, and then fighting tooth and nail to keep them. Bodily autonomy, all of the rest of it. Those of us who were advocating for conversation could see that we were going to get to this point. I could see it. You can't just allow something as barbaric to happen to society, except people did. And then when you get to a point where you realise that it was very, very wrong, not talk about it, and expect those of us who have stood up from the start to be all right with that. Deeply unfair, deeply disturbing. And let me go back to imperfections. Of course, I have, I was going to say regularly, not even regularly, on occasion in the last couple of years, delivered what I think in a way that, again, I talked about this the other day, sometimes maybe send a text, maybe after a couple of drinks, as I did a couple of weeks ago, or maybe the way through sheer frustration. I'm only human. Will the annoyance will come across and possibly in an offensive way, I don't know, but yeah, we're human. And as I say, after 2.5 years of us, quite a lot of us, imploring asking, imploring and then begging people simply to have a conversation, that the version of events espoused by the government and the media might not necessarily be actual reality, and being ignored, laughed at, sometimes vilified. And at the same time, just the general repressive clamping down on freedom of speech, which means freedom of expression, which means not being able to express yourself authentically in many different environments. It's no wonder that people say things that they possibly regret, as I did the other day, but which I've apologised for about 1,000,000 times. Now, if this is you, if you relate to this, we have to remember that A, that we are imperfect, and B, because we're individuals and we've nurtured individual thought, individual values, we've been able to see what's going on. And it's for that reason, because probably those values are, you know, in relation to things like, or yeah, loosely related to truth, freedom, courage, authenticity, I don't know, humanity, that we've imbued our life in the last couple of years through those values, regardless of the consequences and the turmoil, the sadness, the anger, the grief, the frustration. 2.5 years is a long time to have gone through what a lot of us have gone through. You know, obviously, as you'll all know, I lost my dad as a result of the very thing that I was something happened to that I was warning about, and that was only what, 8 months ago, 9 months ago. It's no time at all, really, is it? But even that actually hasn't resulted in many people having an honest conversation, honest reflection. It's no wonder, really, that from time to time I get incredibly frustrated. And I say this because I actually don't feel like I'm being particularly lucid with this video, but what I do try to do in my life is to have a conversation. Here's the horses. You know, you can get more sense out of the horses. Hello. I don't know whether sometimes they'll let me feed them and other times they won't. It's just some grass for them. You want some? No? No? Come on. Come on. That's it. Hello. Go on, you okay? There you go. Bit reluctant. It's okay. No? Oh, throw it on the floor. There you go. Grab that. See you later, horses. I can't remember what I was saying. No. I can't remember. That's right. With these YouTube videos, I am a conversationalist. Yeah, I am pretty sure. In fact, I think I know that some people would perceive me as not being that, as forcing my views on them, as being ideological of all the things that I'm not, and that I passionately argue for and against, that I've written a book about. And I think this is another element of the psychological warfare that is being weaponized against people like us. I always try to, as I say, lucidly explain myself. Some videos I'll do better than others. As I say, with this one I feel like I'm just going on, not really getting to any point, but the ability to be able to have a conversation with somebody. So for example, this morning I met up with 8 or 9 from our local Stand in the Park group who went for a walk in the country like this, and it was so refreshing just to talk about what we all think. talk about our reality, talk about our truth, exchange views. And everyone's on the same page in terms of wanting a free world where, you know, we have those human rights and where we have the ability to choose. But everyone has different angles. There's disagreements, respectful disagreements. There's some people are more into the conspiracy. I'm more into the psychology and sociology. Some people go right down all the rabbit holes. Others don't want to go so much down the rabbit holes. Some people are a little bit more political. Others aren't. Some people, you know, think maybe QAnon's coming to save the day. Others don't. Well, it's fine. We talk. We have a good debate. We learn from each other. And it feels like my grey matter in my brain, I come away from it thinking, right, yeah, I've actually had a conversation there about something meaningful. I've been able to express myself. I've participated in dialogue that's really stretched my, my intellect and has made me think, has made me question even more. It's good for me. Yeah. There are so many now who have never been able to do that, or who are so scared and so fearful that even now that they know that we were right with what we said, it's still not allowed. And it's almost like people resort to gaslighting and to say that we are the very thing that we've been fighting against all this time. Now, I don't know whether I'm explaining myself that well today on today's video, but if you do relate, let me know. And I want to say to you, there are some, as I said, I'm one of them, who will just stand up, resolute, regardless, one foot in front of the other each day, take whatever comes and just stand there with resolve, with stoicism and strength. We are prevailing. I'm still standing strong, even though I'm having a tough time at the moment, and I really am. Particularly, as I say, with it just feels like the psychosis has been stepped up a couple of notches recently in the general population. But there are many who can't appreciate that there's people like us who will just stand there, who will just say no. Not only, no, we're not doing what you psychopathic tyrants want us to do. Not only, please, will you listen to us, because we've got some information here that you need to see. We've got some opinions that maybe could influence you in a different direction. You know, there's something here you should really look at. We're trying to protect you. Not only that, but now that all that's happened, people have died, people have been harmed. You gotta laugh, there's talk of more restrictions coming back and all that. I mean, I don't think people will put up with it any longer. But now, even after everything that we warned against happened, and now we want to talk about it to make sure it doesn't happen again and people learn. Well, no, there's many who can't conceive of that, because it's strength of character. It's real strength of character. And so if you're that person, if you're one of those people, just take it from me, please, you know, because if you are someone who's done that and who are one of the few who can sit there and have an honest, truthful conversation, you know, that's our only hope. And it's a big hope, because things are changing, and in many ways we are positively influencing. It's just right now, at this particular moment in time, the hypnosis, the psychosis, the neurosis is working to really make people difficult to deal with. Very, very difficult to deal with. Granted, some would say the same about me, maybe you, but as ever, I always try to explain where I'm coming from, you know, to explain that I'm a person of ideas and conversation, but that I'm not perfect. And if I feel like I'm not being listened to, if I feel like that I'm not allowed to express myself, if I feel that people's cowardice is having the effect on my own ability to be free, and those in society, like children who deserve to have the freedoms, then I will get frustrated from time to time and say something that I might regret. You know, so what? So what? I've done the right thing. Listen, I know in my heart, for all my faults, as I say, a lot of which there are many, all my faults, I know that I've done the right thing. I'm not even going to say I'm right, forget that. I have done the right thing. I have acted with courage. I have made a sacrifice. I have stood up strong, and I have really tried to help other people and support other people and provide strength for them. And I will continue to do that. I know that what I have done is for the right reasons. I know in my heart. And people who have no intuition, that is like a foreign language to them, because everything has to be reduced and rationally thought out, and so that'll sound crazy to them. But I know I'm on the right side, and so are you. We are being vindicated, but it's tough at the moment as we negotiate this next challenge of ensuring that free speech isn't eliminated to absolutely nothing. You know, so tough at the moment. Been saying that for a long time. I'm gonna try and I think maybe make some notes on what it is that's bothering me at the moment in relation to this topic, and maybe give it another go, but because I don't know whether I've really hit on the points I want to hit on. But you might feel differently, and I hope you've enjoyed the scenery. There we go. It's just lovely. So yeah, I'm going to leave it there. Do let me know in the comments. Thanks as ever. I've got so much catching up to do on the Telegram chat. I've got a few on YouTube. As I say, I've not been feeling great recently. But you know, I'm strong, resilient. So ride it out and just carry on being you. Carry on. That's what I want to say, yeah. I don't need to say anything else really. Just carry on being you. Warts and all. And remember that anything you've done that you regret is an absolute drop in the ocean compared to what the people that you know who've gone along with this, what they've allowed, the sins that they have committed in their compliance and their cowardice and their acquiescence. So don't let them make you feel bad if sometimes you do something, say something that you regret. We're not perfect. We're far from it. But it's because we know we're not perfect. It's because of those imperfections. It's because of that energy and that emotion and that drive and that will to life that we were able to not only see it, but make sense of it, and then step up and defend the people who needed to be defended. That's why. So there you go. Right, I'll leave it there. Hope this video, I hope you got something from it anyway, and I'll speak to you soon. Bye bye.